A blessed day to each and everyone. Again, this is Teacher April, and we're going to talk about quarter two, module number 8. This is the last module for the second quarter. This is about how to store poultry and game bird. Poultry may be frozen in whole, in halves. We can cut it into pieces or parts after they are being dressed. The parts can be packed separately. They can be ready to cook or for easy meat preparation and towing. This will be our learning targets for today. I can store and maintain poultry and game bird according to standards. I can rate the finished products using rubrics. I can observe safety and hygienic procedures and practices in storing poultry dishes. When you talk about handling and storing of poultry spoils very quickly unless it is properly handled and stored. After being brought home from the market, it should be unwrapped as quickly as possible and wipe it off with a damp cloth. Then it should be lightly covered with waxed paper, placed in shallow utensils, and stored in a cold part of the refrigerator near the freezing unit or ice. You have to cook poultry that should be cooled as much as possible so that you can prevent drying and refrigerated. You have to remove bones because take note, bones can able to save space and the frozen one must be kept in the freezing unit until it is completely thawed for cook. When it comes to freezing and thawing poultry, we have chicken and turkey. You can have it refrigerated for 1 to 2 days, but if you have a freezer, it can be done for 12 months. For chicken pieces, 1 to 2 days refrigeration, 9 months in the freezer. For duck and goose, 1 to 2 days in the refrigerator and 6 months in the freezer. While for turkey, which is cut into pieces, you can have it refrigerated for 1 to 2 days and for freezer, it can be up until 6 months. It is not recommended to refreeze poultry after it has been thawed. Remember that because freezing and thawing, it will going to release liquids and these liquids can drip and the chances of bacterial spoilage will going to increase. The holding capacity of water of meat is also affected by means of subsequent thawing. We also have the cooked poultry dishes, freezer for 2 to 4 days. The refrigeration time will be for 4 to 6 months. The canned poultry opened, it shall be 1 day if you're going to put it refrigerated. And for giblets, 1 to 2 days, 3 to 4 months in the freezer. Wild duck, peasant, goose, wool, 1 to 2 days in the ref, and 6 months in the freezer. So when we're going to tow, it is very advisable to tow slowly inside the refrigerator so that it will going to give tissues a better chance to rehydrate. Immediately cook the towed meat since bacterial growth is rapid upon towing. And then you have to slow towing may be affected by placing 1 to 2 kilogram of chicken in the refrigerator for 12 to 24 hours or to place it under running tap water for 1.5 to half or an hour in the original wrap in both cases. However, when we talk about frozen poultry or any other market forms of poultry, they shall not be allowed to tow or soak in a bowl of water because of possible bacteria build. How are we going to handle chicken safety? So, the raw chicken and poultry, they can carry salmonella. This is responsible for food poisoning, this bacteria, than any other pathogen. So we have to take notes that we must always keep your poultry and chicken cold, and the prevention of bacteria can be avoided if you're going to cook it, and cross contamination should be avoided as well. So if you're going to take a look, the chopping board for the vegetable is different for the chopping board in the meat. When we talk about safe shopping for chicken and poultry, so if you have to fill the packages of the chicken, they have to be cold. And chicken should be the last item that you're going to select, and this is upon checking out. Once you are home, you have to immediately place the chicken in your refrigerator, and you must have a 40-degree Fahrenheit or even colder. And this should be utilized or consumed within 2 days. Otherwise, that should be frozen for 0 degrees Celsius. So during the distribution in the retail stores, the fresh chicken is kept cold in order to extend its shell life as well as to prevent bacterial growth, which is the salmonella. So, just like meat, fish, or any animal based food product, raw or undercooked chicken carry certain bacteria. This bacteria can cause illness in large numbers. So we're going to limit the ability to multiply this bacteria, and we have to make sure that the food products are not left at room temperature. Room temperature, this is the condition of our home right now without putting it on the refrigerator. So therefore, so that we can able to avoid illnesses, we have to limit the bacteria and its ability to multiply or kill them altogether. So one other concern that with respect to working with uncooked poultry is cross-contamination. Cross-contamination can happen when raw poultry or even just its juices somehow come in contact with any other food products, but especially ones that are already cooked or ones that will be eaten raw, such as salads, vegetables, or green. So, what is the difference between fresh versus frozen chicken and poultry? When we talk about fresh, this indicates that it has never been colder than 26 degrees Fahrenheit. The poultry that has at any time been kept at 0 degree Fahrenheit or colder must have a label indicating that it is frozen. A poultry that has been kept at temperature colder than 26 degree but warmer than 0 degree Fahrenheit can be labeled neither fresh nor frozen. And when it comes to the chicken poultry product and dating, there should be a phrase signifying whether the date is sell by date or used before date, and the explanation must appear on the right next to the date, because we have to remember that we have to consume the food before it expires. But in the United States of America, federal regulations don't require poultry products to be dated. However, most retailers will date the chicken products that they sell. For basic handling for food safety, we have some steps in handling food safety, like shopping, we have storage, we have preparation, thawing, cooking, serving, leftovers, and refreezing. These safe steps in food handling that we have mentioned here, like the cooking, storage, these are very essential so that we can able to prevent foodborne illness. You can see, smell, or taste the harmful bacteria that may cause illnesses. Even in the step of food preparation, you have to follow the 5 BACTM guidelines to keep your food safe. What are these? First, you have to clean. You have to rinse it with running water before consuming. Of course, washing hand is very important during and after preparation, and preparing food before eating. Soapy, you have to wash with hot soapy water the utensils, cutting boards, and countertops. Then you have to separate. This is about cross contamination. Separate cutting boards, plates, and utensils for raw meat, poultry, seafoods, and vegetables, because these where bacteria can able to spread out. So the eggs and raw meat, poultry, and seafood, you have to separate them from all other foods in the fridge. Then you have to cook. You have to use thermometer when it comes to ensure that the foods are safe in internal temperature. So all poultry must have 165 degree, including ground chicken and turkey. And the whole cuts of beef and pork and veal and lamb fish, it will be 145 degrees. And when it comes to chilling, the temperature should be below 40 degree. You have to refrigerated perishable foods within 2 hours, and 1 hour if the outdoor temperature is above 90 degrees. Let's discuss one by one the methods that we have stated earlier. When it comes to shopping, we have to refrigerate frozen items. After selecting your non-perishable, never choose a meat or poultry in packaging that is torn or leaking, and please do not buy food without expiration date. And storage, you have to refrigerate perishable within 2 hours or 1 hour if the temperature is above 90 degree. Your refrigerator should be at least 40 degree Fahrenheit. And you have to cook or freeze fresh poultry, fish, ground meats, and variety of meats within 2 days only. And the beef, veal, lamb, or pork within 3 to 5 days. The meat and poultry should be wrapped securely to maintain quality, and you have to wrap the package again with all plastics wrap that is recommended for the freezer. Those canned foods such as the meat, poultry, fish, and most vegetable will keep 2 to 5 years if can remains in good condition and has been stored in cool, clean, dry place. So, how are we going to do thawing? So, these are the methods of thawing. So, you can have put it in the fridge, in hot water, in microwave, in cool water, in the frozen tray, and running water. When it comes to refrigerator, this will going to slow, safe thawing procedure. In cold water, you have to put it in a lick pro plastic bag. When it comes to microwave, you have to cook the meat, poultry immediately after you've done the microwave. When it comes to cooking, so you have to allow the meat to rest for at least 3 minutes before carving or consuming, because this what will happen is it will going to absorb all the juices that it needed. And in serving, you have to hold hot foods with 140-degree temperature, and if you're going to serve it in a buffet, you have to keep the food with the shoving dishes, and you have the cold food should be nesting in balls of ice. For our leftovers, of course, you have to discard any left out at the room temperature for more than 2 hours, and you have to place it in a shallow containers. So the leftover should be consumed within 4 days. For refreezing, so you have to remove the items like meat, poultry, and fish from store packaging, of course. And then you have to use a freezer paper or freezer bag instead. And make sure that the air out of the freezer bag. Okay, and then you have to label it when you freeze with a name and date. So that's how you're going to store it. Of course, you're going to do it after you have cooled down the food. Okay, so that's it for the storing of our poultry and game bird dishes. These are my references. So thank you. That's all for this second quarter, and hope to see you again next third grading. Goodbye, and don't forget to always click the like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for another update. Bye. This is again Sure April. See you next time.